Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is A Small Line Books and my name is Kayomi. Today I have a spring TBR, or all the books that I want to read this spring, meaning March, April and May, and I guess June. But in my mind, June is the summer, but the summer starts to the midway of June. So let's say June 15th. I chose this stack based on the fact that I've had so many books sitting on my shelf for a while, coupled with newer books I really want to read as they have just been debuted, and a mix of classics. So I have, I think, a pretty hefty stack here, especially when thinking about I might read other books throughout beyond just this stack, especially for my book clubs and stuff. And let's just go right through them. The first book I would like to read in the spring is The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. This is a classic that I've been recommended over and over and over and over again, so I really want to read it. It's quite short. I got it for $5 at a used bookstore, so I was like, this is the perfect time to read it. I love like vintage books like this. It reminds me of primary school library because we had a bunch of old books. So The Picture of Dorian Gray follows Dorian Gray, who sees a picture of himself and starts worrying about aging, and he hopes that the picture itself would age and he would stay young. Apparently it's very tragic, so I'm very interested in reading some classics this year, and as I try to become better in my craft as a writer, it has been really useful to read other works of lit, especially classic lit, seeing what other more contemporary authors have been inspired by. So very excited for The Picture of Dorian Gray. The next book is also a classic, and it is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I genuinely do not know what Frankenstein is about, which is kind of embarrassing, but my idea of Frankenstein is like a scary green monster man. The back even says, to many readers who perhaps known Frankenstein only at second hand, the original may well come as a surprise. I heard that Frankenstein is actually in its original form a queer piece of lit, and I think I heard that in college because there was an English class offered called Frankenstein, Queerness and Literature, and I never took it, but it looked really interesting. So I'm really excited to read Frankenstein and to have that idea of what this original text is all about, because again, Green Monster Man is in my head. The next book I want to read is Love in the Time of Cholera by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Bought this when I was in London for buy one get one half price, and that was 5 years ago, and it's been on my shelf. So your girl's gotta read it. What I know about this book is that it follows the main character as this hopeless romantic, and the person he's been in love with is married, but then her husband passes away and they try to rekindle their love now that her husband has died. Obviously it's in the time of cholera, so that's what I know about this book. I've heard it's a really good piece, and I am excited to read this as well. This is Parakeet by Marie-Helene Bertino, and I found this at a used bookshop for $8. Look at how this is in perfect condition. Like, look at this. Like, it's perfect. And this is a novel that looked really weird to me. I saw Parakeet and I was like, let me pick it up and read it. And then the back of it says, the week of her wedding, the bride is visited by her dead grandmother. Her grandmother is a parakeet. That is what basically stunned me. It sounds like it has magical realism elements by the fact that the grandma is a parakeet. I, as a writer, want to write more magical realism short stories, and I feel like this will help inspire me in some way, but also it sounds absurd. I love absurd literature, so yeah. The parakeet is telling the bride not to get married and says instead to find your brother. And that's the whole journey of this book. Beautiful cover, absurd story, excited to read it. The next book is Parable of the Talents by none other than Octavia Butler, my hero. I read the first book in the series, Parable of the Sower, last year and absolutely loved it. And if you don't know, Parable of the Sower is set in a post-apocalyptic setting. And it's actually set in 2025, I believe, where things have gone terribly wrong in the United States, and specifically in California. There's drought, there's famine, there are people in the streets killing each other, there's a fascist president. The United States, like the different states, have become their own nation states instead of states of the United States. Main character Lauren has lost everyone around her and she's trying to survive, and she creates this new religion called Earthseed, and she finds a place to build a new community through the madness. And this is the sequel to that, and it says in 2032 Lauren has survived the destruction of her home and family and created a peaceful community in Northern California based on her newly founded faith, Earthseed. The fledgling group provides refuge for outcasts facing persecution after the election of an ultra-conservative president who vows to make America great again. This is obviously a science fiction. It was written in the 1990s, but it has a very, very realistic parallels to our society today. It has themes of religion and culture and blackness and hope and mutual aid and building, and this is what I love about Octavia Butler's writing. She doesn't give us this nihilistic view of the world. She also gives us a text to show what is possible when we build community. The next book is When We Were Birds by Ayana Lloyd Banwo. She is a Trinidadian debut author, and When We Were Birds is a mythical love story set in fictional Trinidad and Tobago. I'm really excited for this one, but the cover is so beautiful. My fiance saw it at a bookshop and he saw that it was a Trinidadian author, so he picked it up and bought it for me. It's so sweet. I just am excited to support a Trinidadian debut author. I have goals of one day becoming a published author, so the fact that I have people that I can look to and see how they made it a reality is really inspiring to me. So yeah, a love story, mythical, set in Trinidad. I love magical shit, so it's gonna be a good one for me. And lastly, the last book I have is a graphic novel called On a Sunbeam by Tilly Walden. This is also a love story, but it's a space opera love story, and it's all graphic, as you can see. I'll open it right here. I picked it up at a used bookstore as well, and it says that a restoration crew travels to the deepest reaches of space, rebuilding broken, beautiful structures to piece the past together. Two girls meet in boarding school and fall deeply in love, only to learn the pain of loss. With true interwoven timelines and stunning art, award-winning graphic novelist Tilly Walden creates an inventive world, a breathtaking romance, and an epic quest for love. Love story, sci-fi, magical-esque things going on. I'm sure I'm gonna love this, but this is why I'm excited to read a graphic novel. I haven't read one in a while. The last graphic novel I read was Persepolis. So here are all the books that I would like to read in the spring. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know below in the comments what you are going to be reading this spring, or what are you looking forward to this spring. I feel like spring is a time of rebirth and rejuvenation, and I'm feeling to start new hobbies, feeling to get outside more and start new habits and read more books. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time at Small Line Books. Bye!